Hey guys, this is Scotty Wick. I wanted to go ahead and just do a quick tutorial on redrawing playfields in Illustrator and what what you can kind of do to make some of those graphics more crisp. If you find an old playfield, you want it to look a little different. What we're looking at here is I've dropped in the new diner by Flupper into Illustrator. I just did a file place from the playfield in his file. And what I'm going to be looking at and showing you how to do, I'm not actually going to do this whole thing because I think it's fine the way it is. But if we were looking, the one bit of this playfield that always bothers me are these like faces. I know it's a style, and this is super high res and the way it was, but I still hate that illustration style. It's just kind of garbage. But so let's say if we wanted to take out this really weak shadowing that the original Illustrator did with just like the white, right? That's pretty lame. And like, what's wrong with this dude's mouth? I guess he's got his tongue out, but then like, what is? It's not great. Anyways, why does this Haji? Why does he have bright red lips? It doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, but so if I was going to do a quote unquote fantasy playfield of this, what I do is I get right up in here, and first I'd go around and I would draw the face, right? So if we can see here, what I've done is I've drawn that face. So I've drawn in her face and I've put it on a layer over here. So you can see I can take that layer off and we can see the face that I've drawn around there. And I'll show you how I draw those and then we can get into, I'll do an example. And then you'll see I have face details, a layer that I put on top. So you can see the eye there that I've drawn. You can see it takes all that pixelation out, makes everything really tight. It's not; these aren't perfect lines. I'm doing this as a tutorial to help you guys along. But if we go there, we're already looking way more crisp than we would have had previously with this, right? So we could redraw it and make it super crisp. Obviously, it would take a lot of time and dedication, but if this is one of your favorite tables or you just really like doing that, then have at it. But anyways, so let's look at what we're going to do is I'm going to walk through creating the mouth here, and you'll have to, bear with me because I'm at home only with a laptop trackpad, which is not ideal on the way to do this. So first thing that I would like to note is that I'm doing this on the playfield as it stands. And ideally, you'd want to do this on a much bigger scale, meaning that if you can blow this thing up to be really huge, then you're going to have more I get they're not really pixels, but vertices for you to work with. And what I mean by that is like, let's get in deep on this eyebrow here. All right, so you can see the different. Let's go to our actual points. You can see the actual points here, right? So we have this point. I can change. I can drag its things. Let's make this layer not yellow because that's 100% obnoxious to try to tell the color there. Oh, stupid trackpads. Come on, give me the color. All right, what color do we like here? Red, that's easier, right? So now we can see this, right? I've got these, but if I wanted to just nudge it left and right, like with my D-pad, you see how far out that goes? Like that's obnoxious. Like that's sucks. So the reason being is that the vertices are that far apart because this image is rather small in comparison. So ideally, I'd make the image, if I was going to redraw this whole thing, I'd make the image really big. And then that way my nudges could work better than they do now. As it stands, I won't be able to use nudge at all because it's just too far apart. You'll notice that too whenever I grab one of these anchor points. I can get somewhat some movement, but it's going to be a little tighter than I want it to be. Anyway, so let's get down and draw this mouth, this grody looking mouth, and see how that's done. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the pen tool over here, and I'm on my face details layer. Again, if you don't do layers, that's fine, but it's also going to become just an absolute mess in there. So I would suggest making yourself some layers. I'm on face details, so I'm going to work on that one right now. So let's go ahead and do it. Do the easy one, which is this kind of smile line here. So I'm just going to grab and draw that, and then I'm just going to make a quick and dirty one, right? So let's just do a little smile line like that. Cool, that one's done. Let's move on to the mouth here. And most of the time when I'm doing one of these, starting, which I'll go ahead and just close that one out, I'm going to go ahead and make it transparent over here. Sometimes I'll go ahead and just drop a like black on there since I'm going to be doing a black item. And I'm just going to go ahead and make it magenta so I can see kind of what my lines are as I go. And generally when you're doing a curve, you're going to want to do, well, it looks like that stroke is huge. We got to go find our stroke panel, which is here, and it's 1 pixel. See, again, usually 1 pixel should be small as crap, but because this image is so small, it's a mess. It looks giant. I'm going to move it down to 0.25. And to make the image bigger, I would just need to pull that. I mean, I could drag it and make it bigger here, or I could just make it bigger in Photoshop and then drop it back in. Anyways, so on your corners, you're generally always going to want to put a vertice at the edge of a corner. And generally, I like to keep most of mine with a curve on them, and try to work into my next curve. So this one's not perfect. I can always come back, so don't feel like you're too stuck with whatever you get. We can come back and fix some stuff up. And again, sorry, I'm trying to do this with a trackpad. It's not ideal. Well, I'm sure some people have a great time with it, but I'm fussy as crap. So you'll see there I held shift and hit that vertice, which then made it release the anchor, the grabbers. And see, again, I don't know why it has this like white crap below her mouth, but again, that was the design style of the time. So if you wanted to keep it like that, more power to you. I personally wouldn't put this much work into it and keep that kind of junk there, so I'm going to get rid of it. So let's go ahead and pull this. So you see some of these are not great, right? Some of these kind of suck. They don't look the best. I'm going to click on this direct select tool, and then I can go back in and try to get these things more dialed in, make sure all my curves look nice. This curve is crappy, so let's go ahead and adjust our anchors there. This one's not the best. This one could be better. So we're just going to kind of go around here and kind of smooth out the work we just did. Make sure all these are feeling right to us. Getting close. Try not to make this too long. It gets you the idea of what we're doing here. So we're not actually going to have a stroke on this thing. So when you see some of these like sharp points, like don't worry about that too much, because we're just having this outline for now until we get into coloring it. So that's pretty much the way her mouth looks. And now we have the inside of the mouth, and we also have the lip coloring. So let's go ahead and we're just going to make a fresh one. Let's go ahead and draw this lip coloring. And just doing the same thing here. Just going to hold shift, close that one off. All right, getting close. And let's give a little bit of a bump there. All right, that one actually looks pretty good. I don't know that I'll need to do anything to that one. Let's go ahead and do the mouth opening. So this is one where you have a kind of a really tight curve there that's going to be hard for emulating the first time. So with 2 anchor points, I'm going to leave it grubby, and I'll come back and show you how we make that not look like crap. All right. Get close. All right. That one's less than awesome on our first draft, so we got to go back and edit some of these things. Some of this one, what we can do is if you hold shift, you can move just one side of the anchor point, right? So that way we can get a tighter curve and a looser curve on the other side, really making it kind of fit the shape we were going for a lot better. And so sometimes you just got to say, okay, I'll come back and fix that one. Great. Just pulling some of these things in to look a little closer. Again, I'm going to hold shift here and I'm going to make that curve tighter while leaving the other one as it stands. And these might be things that once we see it, we might just go, all right, I'm going to make that a little bit more fantasy than it is now, because again, a lot of these, curves and art style, again, I just don't love. And so some of these things are a little more loose and kind of 90s icon style than I personally love, but again, it's all up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this here. And all right, so what we're going to do now, and I'm just going to leave some of this stuff, as is. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and fill in our top level items. You notice how I did the black one in the back first? Reason for that being is that it's actually behind these other elements. I can move them forward and back by right-clicking on the path and then say arrange, send backward. So I can adjust my layers and my levels that way. But I prefer just to draw back to front. So let's go ahead and start then by coloring back to front. So these three are going to be on top here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this tool and I'm going to find that red. I'm going to change it to that red. I'm going to do the same down here. Find that. Oh, didn't find the red. There we are. And then find the white here. Let's go ahead and eyedropper. And then for our mouth thing here, we're going to go ahead and do the same. And grab that black. And now we can pop that on, and you'll see we got our nice vector. Again, what a weird design for a mouth. So strange. But so we can take this off and see, taking our pixel, running low on battery, taking that kind of pixel mesh that was there and turning it into a nice vector. Again, if I was, fiddling on this one more, I would say, let's make this mouth not look so strange and kind of give it a more, a more human-like look and feel than what it currently stands out. And she can be a little bit angrier and yelling more. And these lips, man, those are weird looking. So yeah, no offense to the original designer from Williams or Bally or whatever in the 90s, but I don't know that this aged so well. Anyways, so you could kind of get in there and then make it a little bit more yours. And that's where a lot of the fun in redrawing these would be, is to kind of update some of the graphical elements. So not just taking them from, a non-vector state to a vector state, but kind of, I don't know, making them a little better. I don't know that I've necessarily done that here, but it's headed in the right direction. I think if I was giving a little bit more love to this bad boy, this thing's weird, and yeah, I mean, a lot of them aren't going to be this kind of super. I might not have chosen the best one for style wise, because this one is just kind of having its own thing going on. But let me go ahead and finish this little mouth here. So as you can see, if you do it my route, which there's other ways to do this, I'm sure, but I draw a lot in digitally for work and stuff. And this is the route we'll always go about it. And it's not the fastest by any means. You're not going to be winning any speed awards doing this. But you get a really nice end product out of it, and you can always come back to it and fiddle with it more. And so I think you'll find this to be helpful, hopefully. But all right, so I'm going to finish up this. So that feels a little bit more like a mouth to me than what it did originally, right? Than that kind of whatever that alien mouth is. This feels a little bit more like a mouth. I still don't love these smile lines. They're not awesome, but yeah, it looks more like a mouth. We're getting somewhere. As you can see, we're starting to work towards a much better drawing here than what the original was. So if we were to, we can see here without, and then as we're getting into vector. Anyways, I hope this helps on how to work within Illustrator to redraw playfields. It's a labor of love for sure. If you're going to go through and redraw a whole one, that's where you see these long work in progress ones where dudes are putting in a lot of hours. So definitely say thanks to all those guys that are putting in the effort to do this. And if you're going to be starting on this, feel free to toss me any questions. I work in Illustrator a lot, and so I can help you work through some of those things and stuff if you get hung up. So I hope this helped. Again, this is Scottywick, and go play Stranger Things in Diablo, and Stranger Things 2.0 coming out soon. All right, thanks guys. Bye.